When we hear the word lust, we often think only of physical temptation, sexual desires that run out of control. But what if I told you that lust is far more deceptive, far more dangerous, and far more widespread than we realize? Lust doesn't only live in the obvious places. It creeps into hidden corners of our hearts, reshaping our desires, distorting our priorities, and pulling us quietly, almost imperceptibly away from God's purpose for our lives. Most people don't recognize it. They think lust is something external, something extreme. But the Bible reveals a startling truth. Lust takes many forms, some so subtle that we might not even realize we are caught in its grip. Could you be struggling with a form of lust right now without even knowing it? From the very beginning, lust has been humanity's silent destroyer in the Garden of Eden. Eve wasn't tempted merely by hunger. Genesis 3:6 tells us she saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom. Her desire wasn't just for food, it was for something outside of God's will. That is the essence of lust, a craving for something that God has not given, a hunger that blinds us and pulls us toward what will never truly satisfy. Lust whispers promises it can't keep. It blinds us with cravings, making us chase shadows, leaving us emptier, lonelier, and more broken every time. And if we don't recognize the forms it takes, it can quietly derail our entire lives. Let's uncover 6 types of lust that can seize control of our hearts and how to break free from them. 1. The lust for pleasure. Pleasure is a gift from God. He designed us to enjoy life, to savor creation, to celebrate beauty. But when the pursuit of pleasure becomes an obsession, when feeling good becomes more important than doing good, lust has taken root. This isn't just about partying or indulgence. It's about the endless chase for the next thrill, the next high, the next escape from reality. Proverbs 21:17 warns us with sobering clarity, "Those who love pleasure become poor. Those who love wine and luxury will never be rich." Pleasure isn't evil, but when it becomes our master, we lose control. We lose discernment, and ultimately we lose the very joy we were trying to find. The lust for power. Power doesn't always wear a crown. It hides behind ambition, competitiveness, and the relentless need to be right, to be admired, to be in control. Some crave leadership, not to serve, but to dominate. Yet Jesus taught a revolutionary truth in Mark 10:43-44. "Whoever wants to be a leader among you must be your servant." True greatness isn't about rising above others, it's about lifting others up. Lust for power seduces the heart into believing that our worth is tied to our ability to control, to win, to command. But the path of Jesus leads downward into humility, sacrifice, and love. 3. The lust for wealth. Money itself is neutral. It's neither good nor evil. But the lust for wealth, the unrelenting hunger for more, has destroyed more souls than almost any other temptation. It seduces us with promises of security, comfort, status. It tells us that if we just had a little more, then we'd finally feel safe. But it's a lie. 1 Timothy 6:9 sounds the alarm. But people who long to be rich fall into temptation and are trapped by many foolish and harmful desires that plunge them into ruin and destruction. Greed is a cruel master. It tricks us into sacrificing our integrity, our relationships, even our faith, all for treasures that will never fill the ache in our souls. True peace, true security, true fulfillment, these come only from God. 4. The lust for recognition. In a world ruled by likes, shares, and followers, the lust for recognition is more dangerous than ever. It's easy to measure our worth by the applause of others, to crave attention, to hunger for validation. Social media feeds this lust daily, whispering that we are only as valuable as our latest achievement, our latest affirmation. But John 12:43 pierces through the noise, "For they loved human praise more than the praise of God." When recognition becomes our goal, righteousness fades. We stop living for God's approval and start living for the fleeting applause of a fickle world. And in doing so, we lose sight of what truly matters. 5. The lust for knowledge. Knowledge is a blessing. God calls us to grow in wisdom and understanding. But there's a subtle trap when we seek knowledge to feel superior, to rely solely on human reasoning. Rather than divine revelation, we fall into a dangerous pride. 1 Corinthians 8:1 warns us, "Knowledge puffs up, but love builds up." Lust for knowledge apart from God inflates the mind but starves the soul. It can lead us to trust in ourselves rather than in the one who created all knowledge. True wisdom isn't about knowing more, it's about knowing God more intimately. 6. The lust for physical desire. This is the form of lust most people recognize sexual temptation, but even here, many underestimate its power. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, 3-5 urges us, God's will is for you to be holy, so stay away from all sexual sin, lustful thoughts, pornography, impure relationships. These aren't just mistakes or bad habits. They are spiritual traps that damage our spirits, distance us from God's best, and chain us to guilt and shame. Sexual sin is unique because it corrupts not just the mind, but the body, the heart, the soul. God calls us to holiness not to shame us, but to protect us. Because what He offers, true love, true intimacy, true joy, is infinitely better than anything lust could promise. Lust is sneaky. It doesn't announce itself with sirens and flashing lights. It slips in silently, blending into our dreams, our ambitions, our habits, until we don't even realize we've wandered far from the path. But there is hope. There is always hope. James 4:7 gives us the battle plan. So humble yourselves before God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. The first step to freedom is humility, the courage to admit that we are not strong enough on our own, to come before God not with polished words or perfect performances, but with brokenness, honesty, and surrender. The next step is resistance, not in our own strength, but with the sword of the Spirit, the Word of God, alive in our hearts. Lust loses its power when it's dragged into the light. When we expose our hidden struggles before God, when we immerse ourselves in His truth, when we surround ourselves with accountability and prayer, the chains begin to break. And here's the beautiful truth. No matter how far you've gone, no matter how long you've struggled, no matter how deep the pit feels, God's grace goes deeper still. His mercy reaches lower. His love stands taller. You are not too dirty. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are loved. You are called. You are redeemed. If this message stirred something in your heart today, don't let it end here. Take a moment to reflect. Ask God to reveal any hidden cravings pulling you away from His best. Confess them. Surrender them. Let His healing begin. And if you want to keep growing in faith, walking closer to His purpose, and finding strength for every battle, don't forget to subscribe for more faith-filled encouragement and biblical wisdom. You were made for more. It's time to live like it.